If your dress don't fit properly, it might not be your sewing, it might be the measurement. In today's video, I'll teach you how to take accurate body measurement step by step in a way that is beginner friendly. If you're new here, my name is Jessica from Jegalia Apparel. So let's get started. The tools you'll be needing to take accurate body measurements are your tape rule, a notebook, a pen, and obviously the figure that you're going to be measuring. But before we begin, let me say this. If you're going to measure on anybody, please always tell your client, or if you're measuring yourself for that matter, make sure the person is not putting on so much outfit that the body becomes too big. Because at the end of the day, when you take the measurement, the dress is going to come out big. Okay, so please always make sure it's either you're measuring on a fitted dress or on the body without any clothing at all. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is to turn this mannequin to the back. Okay, so the first measurement we are going to take is the shoulder measurement. Now, mind how I've placed this table. The shoulder measurement here is 15. The upper part of the shoulder, this is your back. The upper part of the shoulder is where you place your measurement. I have seen people place their measurement like this. Look at this is 13. This is 13. But you're supposed to place it at the upper part of the shoulder. The upper part of the shoulder. That is how you place your measurement, the upper part of the back rather. Right, so I'm going to turn this to the front, okay? So we're going to start measuring around the body. Now, this will be needed if you're making a bustier or corset or something like that. This will be needed. But right now, I'm not going to take that measurement for now. But in case you'll be taking that measurement, you just place it like this, not around the body. Please take note. The measurement goes like this, and that gives you 11. Okay, just from this shoulder to this shoulder. Okay, now we're going to be measuring the bust. The next measurement is going to be the bust. Let me come like this. Okay, for easy. Okay, so now the next measurement is the bust. We're going to place it on the fuller part of the bust. The fuller part of the bust. Now this gives us 33. Mind you, I am mindful, this is the fuller part of the bust. You're not placing it on the upper part or lower part of it. You're placing it on the fuller part of the bust. That will help you to get the accurate measurement. And then the next thing is to get under bust. Okay, we're going to place it under bust. Now the under bust is 26. On the bust itself, we got 33. And the under bust, we have 26. Okay, and then the next measurement is the waist. Now this is the waist. The waist is 24 and a half. 24 and a half. And then the next measurement you're going to be taking is your armhole. Now your armhole, if you look at this mannequin, now the reason I'm using this mannequin is because it has the same body structure, all the body parts that will be needed for this measurement. That is why I'm using this mannequin, except for the arm that it doesn't have, but that is not an issue. Okay, now this mannequin has a line here that shows the middle part of the shoulder. If you look at the dress I'm wearing, it shows that the middle part of it, that is where you place your tape rule. Okay, to take the armhole, then it goes round the arm. It goes round the arm. If you're going to take that measurement, it goes round the arm. Now the next measurement will be your sleeve length. Now your sleeve length, always make sure that, now let me place it like this. This is where your back, the back. Now the next measurement will be your sleeve length. Remember, you can see that I placed a mark here where this red mark stops. Okay, now you can actually start rather. Now this is, you place it like this on the shoulder here. Okay, on the shoulder, and then desired length of the client or wherever you want your dress to get to. That's how it is, the desired length. Okay, now the dress you're making, the style you're making determines the length of the sleeve. Now the round sleeve, because this mannequin doesn't have an arm, I'm going to use my arm for that. Now the round sleeve is the fuller part of your arm. The fuller part of your arm. Look at it. It is not the lower part of it, it is the fuller part of your arm. So that when the person wears the dress, it is not too tight or too wide either. So the next measurement will be to know the full length of what you're sewing. If you're making a top, like what I'm wearing a top, is not a gown, you need to know the length of that top, or if you're measuring a gown. Okay, now if let's assume I want to sew a top, what's the length of that blouse? What's the length of the top? Mind you, I am placing is half part of the shoulder, half part of the shoulder. Now I am placing it on the bust. Note that I'm not placing it beside, because if you place it like this, the measurement is going to be short. Now, before I even measure the full length, I'm going to measure the waist length. Okay, because I've not taken the waist length. We've measured the waist. Now, the next measurement will be the waist length. It's the same thing. You place it from the half part of the shoulder to the fuller part of the breast, down to where your waist length is. The waist length is usually a little bit above the navel, not on the navel and not below the navel. Please take note, it is always a little bit above the navel. And then this is 18. So if I were to make a dress for someone who is as tall as this, I'm going to be using 18. Okay, for me, I use 16. Alright, so the next measurement will be to know the full length of the top or the gown. Now, for this person, if this is someone that I'm measuring, the full length for the gown or for the blouse will be 28. For me, I use 23, depending on the top. I might use 25, depending on the length that I want it. It has to do with your client or whoever you're measuring. It depends on the length that they desire. And then you can now take it down to whichever, if it's a gown, whether it's going to be the knee length or full to the ankle, depends on the style you are making. Now, the next measurement will be below, which is from the hip downward. I'm going to move this camera down. Please just hold on. Okay, so I'm going to bend a little so that we can see what I'm doing. The next measurement will be the hip. Now, this is the hip. You can see this is your backside, your buttock, and I'm taking it round the hip, On, you have to place it on the hip itself. Now, this is 39. On the hip itself, this is 39. I've seen people place their measurements like this. If you place your measurements like this, you're going to get inaccurate measurement, because at the end of the day, when you make the dress, it's going to be pulling, it's going to be one side. That's why you see people saying their dress is slanted, is something like that. Make sure it's circled round the body, accurately placed on the body. That's how the tape rule should be. And then let's assume you're measuring a pint or a skirt. Now that you've gotten the waist, you've gotten the hip, the next thing you do is you get, if you're measuring a pint, is the tie. Okay? The tie. Now the tie is the fuller part of the leg. The fuller part of the leg. Now this for this measurement, this is 22. And then the next measurement will be the knee. Okay, the next measurement will be the knee. All right, and then obviously the ankle, depending on the wideness of the ankle. Now I want you to see something. There's something I want to explain here. Now, some people, whenever you're measuring skirt or pants, please always ask your client. Always ask your client, where does he or she place their pant or their skirt? Where do they place it? Some people place it above their navel, some place it below, because it will affect the length of what you're sewing. So always make sure you ask, so that when you're getting the full length of the skirt or the pant, you can get accurate measurements. So that you can get accurate measurement. This is very, very important. This is very, very important. Hold on a bit. Now, there are some common mistakes a lot of beginners make. That is measuring on thick fabric, or somebody who's wearing a very thick fabric, or something that is way too loose, or making the tape to be too loose on the body. When you're measuring, please always tell your client to wear something fitted or measure on the body directly. And then the second thing is that some people do not write down their measurement. Whenever you take a measurement, always write it down. Do not second guess. When you're taking a measurement, please never pull your tape too tight, because if you pull it too tight on the body of the person you're measuring, by the time they wear the dress, they won't be able to breathe, or it shouldn't be too loose either. Except you're sewing a loose clothing, but it's better you get accurate measurements. Then you can now add 2 or 3 inches on the fabric. And then, like I was saying, always write down your measurement. Do not second guess. When you take a measurement, write it down. Remember, even the dullest pen is still sharper than the sharpest brain. That is why you need a pen and a book. Write down your measurement immediately, because it's better to get accurate measurement of your client than for you to make a mistake and sew something that they wouldn't want. And then lastly, I would say, please, if you're unsure of a measurement, take it again. Remeasure the person. If you are unsure, don't second guess. Don't assume that this person might be wearing bust 46, meanwhile it might be 42. Do not second guess. Remember, accurate measurement is the foundation for good sewing. In my next video, I'll be showing you sewing tools and their uses. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.